What if you never had to pay for another customer ever again? So I'm going to show you in this video our referral process that we use to basically like get real high level people as clients over time and over the last few years, and how it's helped us build our own like 7-figure plus business by doing this process. And we actually acquired all these clients without spending a penny on paid ads, and without doing any kind of like crazy cold email stuff and all that good stuff, right? So I'm going to show you the whole process, how it works, and how you can use it in your own business. So I want you to remember 3 letters. That is B, P, and A. So P is what's in the middle, right? P is your product. What is your product or service in the middle? What is your core offering? So not like what is the extra little bits and pieces, but what is the core offering that you offer? Then when you're figuring out your referral process and like who can refer, what you want to think about is who comes before your product, right? And who comes after your product, hence before B and then after A. So when we're thinking about that process, that comes 2 ways. So you can send referrals and make money from those, and people can also send you referrals too. So when you're trying to figure out who your strategic partners are, right, who is the best people to connect with, like for example, we do conversion rate optimization. And when I say conversion rate optimization, like full like end-to-end looking at every single part of the buyer journey. So if we do that piece, who comes before us? Well, before they get to conversions, what do they need to do? They need to click an ad. So they need traffic. Who does traffic? Media buyers. So who do we partner with? Media buyers. What do media buyers do? Refer us into clients, right? Makes a lot of sense. Then on the other side, from the product side, who comes after us? So we've converted them, and maybe we've got them to book a call, or maybe we've got them to buy the first product, and then they're going to a high ticket product. So who do they need to speak to next? They need to speak to the sales team. So when they speak to the sales team, we don't do sales, right? We do marketing. We do everything in between, in the middle. So having good referral partners for sales teams that we can refer to and say, hey, meet this sales team, that then becomes a great partnership, okay? However, here's the cool thing. What happens to both of these before and afters? So media buyers, they get frustrated that they're sending all this traffic, and then the client's saying to them, oh, you're sending all this traffic, but it must be the ads that's the problem because it's not converting on the page. And the media buyers then go outside of scope to try and start fixing the funnel and stuff like that, which is not what they do, right? So instead, they find someone like us who they can partner with in order to solve that specific problem. And when you look at the after part, the sales team, they're like, we keep getting crappy leads from the media buyers. Why is that? Because the conversion part isn't solved, right? There isn't the bridge between the media buyers and the sales team. So we need to put both of those things together. And then what happens? Well, they refer back to us. So that is a really cool way of going, okay, who can I refer to and who can refer to me? So think about who comes before and who comes after you in the process. Another one might be, for example, we don't do operations management, right? So we're not going to go in and like go and sort all the tech out for them or like run their day-to-day project management. That's not what we're there to do. So what do? We refer someone in who does that really, really well, right? And we collaborate with them, and we refer them to every single client that we've got. Why? Because we know they're going to make our lives easier. And at the same time, the client's going to be happy because they've got their problem solved. Because every time you solve a problem, you create a new problem. So think about that. What problem are we solving? Well, we're solving an increase in conversion rates. Okay, so if you solve that problem of increasing conversion rates, what is that actually doing? Well, it's growing the business. So if it grows the business, what does that mean? Well, the business is doing more revenue, which now means it probably needs more team. So when it needs more team, it needs more operations. So if naturally our product creates a new problem of now we've got an operations problem and a fulfillment problem, then we don't want to go and solve that problem because that's not what our wheelhouse, that's not what we do. So then we go and find the perfect person for that, right? So when that is one way to think about referrals, right? So that gives you an idea of like who to find, and then how do you get them to refer? So think about this. Think about your referrals on a ladder. So you've got from 1 to 10, right? So, and if we show you this one first, so 1 to 10, imagine number 1 on the ladder is someone who's got no money, no experience, okay? And someone that is a 10 is super wealthy, well-connected, absolute expert in their field, okay? So you've got people, like if you look at, for example, the online education space, you might say a 10 is someone like a Tony Robbins or like a Alex Hormozy is getting in that kind of wheelhouse as well, right? Someone who's right up there, or like these 9-figure online education businesses, right? Like even a ClickFunnels are like a 9 or a 10, right? So like a Russell Brunson or those kind of people. So these big like well-known influencer, rich, well-connected, all that stuff, right? And then you might have someone who's a 1 who's literally just starting out. They've got no following. They've got no money. They're just trying to figure out how to make this thing work. And what happens is a lot of people, when they're starting out, they try and go up the layers of the ladder one by one, right? So I'll work with level 1s. And then once I work with level 1s, then hopefully I'll be good enough to work with level 2s. And then once I work with level 2s, then I'll be good to work with level 3. So I kind of work with people who are just getting started. Then I'll work with people who are doing 5 figures a year, and then 6 figures a year. And then I'll work with 7 figures a year. But what if we could skip a lot of those steps? What if instead of it's taking you 5 years, 5, 10 years to get up that ladder, what if you could just start at the top and work your way down instead? So think about this. If people very rarely refer up, they will refer down, right? So if I've got someone who's a level 5, right? Someone who's doing 6 figures a year, what's the chances that they're connected with a Tony Robbins, for example? Probably fairly low, right? Just because they're not in that world. And even if they were, maybe they've been to Tony Robbins' event, but they probably don't know him personally. Why? Because people who hang around other people that are at the same level as them, and quite often they're going to know some people who are slightly below because they've got ahead, right? Especially as you go further up the ladder, because it's harder to find more people that are at the same level as you. So you end up like, if you're a 10, you're probably going to hang out with some people that are 9s, right? That are on the up, and those 9s want to hang around with those 10s. However, like those 10s are not going to hang around with level 3s, level 2s. And I know it might sound a little bit harsh, like putting everyone on a level, but like that's essentially like, if it's the easiest way to understand how this process works. So if I'm a level 5, I'm not going to refer to someone who's a level 10. Number 1, I probably don't know him. Number 2, I haven't got that level of rapport to actually do that referral, right? Number 3 is they're more scared to do that kind of referral because they haven't got that level of trust there. So if we look the other way, will people refer down? So if you go and do something for an 8-figure business, are they going to refer you to a 7-figure business? Or maybe another 8-figure business is at a similar kind of level? Probably, right? So that makes it a lot easier to do it in that way. Now, sometimes those people are connected in different ways. So you might have someone who is a level 9 or level 10 connector, but maybe not on income as well, right? So if we look over and we think a level 10 being rich, well-connected and expert, well, maybe they're a level 9 and maybe they're really well-connected and they're fairly rich, but they're not like, maybe they do just 7 figures a year, but like they know everyone and they're like, I'm not about making money. I just like know a lot of people, right? So those kind of people are good to know as well. And they naturally, then might refer you to a level 8 or a level 7. And this is how we grew very quickly and went from working with like 5 and 6 figure businesses. I remember one of the first jobs I did, I think it took about 3 weeks of work, and I got paid like $100 for it, right? Which is not going to pay the bills. So you just do whatever you can, and then you get referred, and you keep moving forward from there. So what you want to ask is, who has my customer? Who has my customer, right? So when you're looking at the level 10 to level 1 process on the ladder, is like, who's got my customer already? Who is a hub? So remember, when we're talking about connections, there's hubs and there's nodes. So a hub knows a lot of people. So for example, it might be someone like a podcast host, right? Who's interviewed hundreds of people. Now, they might not be the most wealthy person in the world, but they're pretty well connected because they've interviewed so many people. And they know people and they built those connections, all that kind of stuff. Because you have people who've built a lifestyle business, right? Who not necessarily want to have like a 20 million a year company, but they've got a lifestyle business, but they're really well connected. And you've got the other people who are really wealthy, but maybe not quite as connected. So figure out who your hubs are in your market. Who are your level 9s? Who are your level 10s on your hubs? And write that down. If you look at The Ultimate Sales Machine by Chet Holmes, he talks about the Dream 100, right? So think about even just your Dream 5 or your Dream 10 that are the hubs in that space. Who are the hubs? Who has your customer? Then I want to show you something of how, and talk you through like how we actually did this, right? So here's a case study behind it. So we did something called Build My Bot Friday. Build My Bot Friday, like when I first started out in like going marketing full time, we were actually called just the messenger bot guy, and it was pretty much me and just one other guy helping out, right? So when we started, I was like, how can I get in front of my ideal customer? Now, this guy, Scott, is a 8-figure 2-column club winner, right? So he's already done 10 million. He'd done 7 figures. He's done over 100 million in webinar sales. He's done 8 figures now as well, right? So these guys are all like 8-figure entrepreneurs, okay? And they all wanted to come on the show. So why would, bear in mind, I'm coming from a relative unknown. No one knew who I was. But why would they come on my show and spend time out of their day to come on my show? Because I give value. So what value did I give? Well, I actually said, I applied the principle and went, right, I want to go up the ladder, right? And I want to go up the ladder rapidly. So how do I do that? Well, instead of working with level 5s, I was like, what if I can like work with level 8s, level 9s, right? And do something for free for them. And then in return, they will refer me to level 7s. And that's exactly what happened, right? In terms of income level. And then when I got into those level 7s, that ended up working really well as well, because like we got a referral from John Lee Dumas, who owns Entrepreneurs on Fire, went into another business and took their first launch from 35,000 to 293,000, right? And at the time, that was like big stuff for us, right? So in 4 days, the previous launch they'd done, they did 35,000. Next launch, 293,000. So what do you think happened at that point? They started raving about us, right? And then we did the next launch. When we did the next launch, we added in this whole like messenger bot process, right, and strategy, and created a full gamification experience. It was a lot of work. However, it caught the eye of a couple of people, and then we ended up we did a one-off thing for Pete Vargas, right? So then we've got him on our client list. We ended up doing something for Ray Higdon off the back of that as well. So we got into that world, and once you open up that world, then as long as you don't screw it up, you can keep playing at that level. And then it opens more doors, right? And keeps going. So one of our longest term clients as well was off the back of me going on a podcast. And that person on that podcast knew a lot of people. And he referred me to one of them. We got started working together. And we grew their business from 4 million to 20 million a year. Now, what do you think that does? Well, it opens up more doors, right? So you've got to get results. And at the same time, you can speed up the outcome that you want to achieve there. So if you look at this, how did I get those people on to build my bot Friday? Well, I said I would build you a bot on Facebook Live for free. Right? So there and then, we'd talk for like 20 minutes. And then the second half of the interview, say, right, what do you want to build? Do you want to build a lead generation bot? Do you want to build a customer service bot? You know, like, do you want to build some other weird kind of thing? And this is when, like, ManyChat had just come out. Messenger bots were just, yes, they've been around a little bit more, but they were just getting popular, right? It was the thing, and it was a bit of the Wild West at that point. There was no kind of restrictions on when you could send the messages and all that kind of stuff. So it just, like, worked really well. And then compliance came in, and then it became a lot harder, right? So at the time, we would do that for them on the call, and by the end of the call, they've got a messenger bot. But here was a cool thing. What I started doing a little bit more is ahead of time, I'd say, look, give us access to your stuff. What problem do you want to solve? We'll solve it for free with a messenger bot. So for John Lee Dumas, we said, look, give us access to your webinar platform. We'll help you increase your show rate on your webinars. We doubled their show rate in under 7 days. Right, I think it was about I say doubled, it was about 70% increase in show rate. Now, he didn't even know those stats until I got on the call with him and went, hey, we did the test. This is what happened. This is what it looks like now. He's like, wow, that's pretty awesome. And then all I did at the end of the interview, once it went, and he was like, this is impressive. I was like, great. Curious. Who do you know that would benefit from this right now? And he's like, let me introduce you to. And then that was it. And that started the whole ball rolling. So what you want to think about is not necessarily saying you have to do a podcast or whatever, but think about some way of giving extreme value without major expectation of return. Give that value to people at that level on the 8s, the 9s, the 10s, and they will naturally refer you to the lowest one. Yeah, you need to ask for it, by the way. And by the way, when you're asking for it, this is something that we're refining more and more at the moment. Don't just say, who do you know? Because that's what I used to do. Right now, it's better. Look through their friends list. See who you want, who's on your dream list. Look through their friends list and go, hey, I saw you're connected with so-and-so. Would you mind making an introduction to them? Because I think we can really benefit them with that stuff, right? And then here's the exact message to send to them if that makes it easy for you. Like, are people going to say no? I mean, there might be a couple, but if you find 4 or 5 on their friends list, you're like, hey, I found 4 or 5 here that, like, we're both, you've got a connection with that we'd love to be speaking to. Like, you just ask for each of those, and it's like, which ones of those do you think you could connect us with? And like, if you put 5 on there, are they going to say, oh, I can't refer you to any of them? They're probably going to say, actually, I'd need to speak to that one, but I can refer you to that one straight away. Great. Should we do that? Should we do that now? Right? Just copy and paste it and send it over. Instant referral. So that's the process of how to build partnerships, and then also like level up who you work with a lot quicker, which will really help things in the long run. And that being said, this is also a process that we use when we're selling bridesmaids dresses. So I want to show you, it's not just works in the online course world. It's not just like a one-off process that worked once. I've applied this principle multiple times. So we applied this principle when we're selling bridesmaids dresses, and we had something called a dream wedding secrets box. So in there, we wanted to generate a load of vouchers, like money off vouchers, right? And I went, who comes before our product and who comes after? And off the back of doing that, what that allowed us to do is go, okay, we've got like magicians, we've got wedding dresses, we've got all these other things that were fitting around us, and it enabled us to put £2,000 worth of vouchers into the box. Now, the anchor of that was pretty good, right? Because the box was only £12.50. So can you get £2,000 worth of vouchers for £12.50 and everything else that comes in the box? That was also essentially pre-framing what we do, right? And at the time I was still doing wedding singing as well, so it was like helping pre-frame that. And then also then we got a kickback if any of those people like connected with those suppliers and actually was an affiliate, right? So if that person claimed that voucher and they said, oh, they claimed that voucher with this unique code, it's like, great. Now we get paid for that referral, and we get paid for selling the boxes, and we built a self-liquidated offer as well. Now, at the time, I wasn't as savvy in marketing. I didn't realize how good what we built was, so I didn't scale it as much as we should, because I was like, oh, we're only breaking even, which was a stupid thing, because basically we were getting customers for free. It was costing us about £7.50 to sell a box worth £12.50, and it cost us about £3 for the postage. So I was making about £1 or £2 per box, right? And then we stopped selling them after 250 because it was like, oh, it's costing us £13-14. We're losing money now because we didn't know how to upsell and all those kind of things. So you see with this process is how you can apply this principle, right? Who comes before, who comes after? So the BPA method. Who comes before you, your product? Who comes after your product? How can you then go and find level 8s, level 9s, do something for them for free that will really benefit them? And then naturally, then you'll work with level 7s. Same kind of thing in whatever industry you're in. And then who as your customer? Find the hubs that can guide you towards the nodes and do stuff for the hubs for free, and then guide it towards the nodes. So that is a video for today. If you need any help and support, there'll be a link in the comments where we've got loads more free resources and all that magic. And you can sign up to email list and everything else. So have a great day. Catch up with you soon. Subscribe and like and all that jazz.